Hey, Coach, I know a couple of weeks ago you said your team need to get their swag back. Is the swag back?
We're working on it, just one day at a time. So proud of the guys. I challenged them before the game to have the right mentality, urgency, and physicality against this team that came into our building a couple weeks ago and punked us. I thought, we didn't come out with urgency and physicality and mentality to start the first quarter, and then progressively got better. 36 points for the Suns, 29, 23, 18, especially in that second half we started locking down.
Taylor in the back. Not sure it's on.
Yeah.
Start of the season, Dez struggled first 3 games or so, then hit his groove, gets hurt, feels like he struggled a little bit coming back. Is he back in that similar groove now? Is it kind of history repeating itself, I guess?
Yeah, a little deja vu, I guess. Really proud of him. He just constantly puts in the work. Just kind of been figuring out, the new shoes he's wearing and all that stuff, getting a groove as he's reacclimating with his teammates. But we know how important he is to us on both sides of the floor. I keep using the word pop. You just see his pop, just how he's driving with force. He's cutting without the ball, shooting it without hesitation. Just really proud of just the daily growth he's showing after quite long layoff.
What does it say about Ja that, both of those halves offensively were totally different? The first half, they're going under. He's shooting it a bunch of times. In the second half, he seemed determined to get to the basket. Was that what they were doing? And then what does it say about, his basketball IQ to recognize that?
Well, first, the IQ, high level, I always say that. But, they definitely, I think, towards the end of the second quarter adjusted. Obviously, they were trying to dare him, from the three-point line. We were trying to get good screening angles, but they were just determined to get underneath and pick him up lower. He just stepped into shots, rhythm shots. Once that first one went down, he wasn't going to hesitate. And then when they adjusted to over, then he was able to thrive in that department, too, getting downhill, getting to the rim. So just really impressive that he can just see what they're throwing at him, heck of a game.
Taylor, what were the notable adjustments you made defensively from the first half to the second half?
Just, more urgency, more determination to be the more competitive physical team. I told them at halftime, I said, hey, it's a competitive game right now, but it's going to come down to who's going to be the more competitive team in the second half. This team's not going to slow down for the last 24 minutes. You got the pace of the game. They're sharing the ball. They're getting to their spots on the floor with ease. We got to figure out a way, just, man on man, just being more physical. Our rotations, our activity was better. They still got some good looks, but, we were heavy contesting. We were kind of forcing them into, kind of rush shots, and it was a lot of it just how we started possessions and finished possessions. So we didn't adjust really anything game plan. We just said, let's just ratchet up what we're supposed to be doing and doing it better, and they did.
Taylor said tonight, Ty has 10 points, 8 assists, BC 13.6 rebounds, 6-8 shooting. It just seems like over the past 4 years, they've just been a constant reliability for y'all. Just how have you seen those two just continue to build on that reliability and lead the charge for the second unit?
Yeah, those guys have great chemistry that's, formulated over the, the 3+ years that they've been together. Obviously BC was out a couple of games. I thought X did a beautiful job, in that spot. And then when BC comes back, he finds his groove against Indiana. But tonight, showcases what BC does, blocking shots, flying around the floor, next play action. That's where Tyus thrives, constantly moving the offense. And then they just found the sweet spot. Multiple guys finding him in that kind of like half roll spot, high level finishes for sure. But those guys have developed a really good rapport, and especially as that second unit, we've got multiple guys that, will play with them. Dez usually plays with that group too, another guy that really just gets the offense going. But when those guys are playing like that, that just, speaks to the depth that we have on our team.
Taylor, you've won 10 games in a row. In terms of you're trying to progress towards an end goal here several months down the line, what do you think you've accomplished as a team during this stretch?
I wouldn't say anything accomplished. We're just improving. There's no finished product whatsoever. I think I said it the other day. We're just trying to find different ways to win ball games, especially at this juncture of the season when you're midway mark. But I've just constantly challenged our guys to just continue to put the work in. Really trying to find our standard for 48 minutes. I think we're doing it more often than not. You're never going to pitch a perfect game, but are we going to have that mentality? Guys are stepping up into different roles. We always talk about no matter who's playing, we've got a standard that we play by. We're cleaning up some things offensively with our ball movement, our spacing. When we've got that energy, then we start knocking down shots, and then defensively, there's always things we can work on. But when we're locked into our game plan, we got great rotations. Guys setting a tone early in possessions. We're really hard to beat there, but there's always things to clean up.
Taylor, kind of going off that note, you guys won 11 in a row last year. It's obviously a different team, but do you feel there's a different level of maybe confidence or just awareness of what you guys can do now maybe versus last year when you guys were kind of on that streak?
I think we're always confident, and a word I've used, since obviously we played the Phoenix Suns last, we lost to them right after Christmas at home. We had to take stock of we've got to get better in a lot of areas, all the things I just listed off. So we've always got that confidence, but if you got that confidence, you got to back it up with your play. You got to back it up with your urgency every single night, home games, road games, no matter who's playing, in and out for us, in and out for them. I say that all the time, but that's truly what it comes down to. We're getting better. That's going to be my main focus. It's one day at a time. We'll watch some film tomorrow and get ready for a really tough Cavs team on Wednesday.
Taylor, is the win more satisfying when it comes on a day like today and what it means to the city of Memphis?
Well, I mean, I'm obviously proud of how our guys played and responded, but, I'll be the first one to say you got to throw basketball out the window when we talk about today. This is a special day in and of itself, whether you win a game, you lose a game. It's a humbling experience to, watch our honorees before the game, obviously legends of the sport, but what they're doing in their communities, here, obviously, but abroad is really special to, recognize Gary, Luol, Nancy, and Eddie. I thought that was awesome. There's so many events that go on before this. I said in my pregame presser, this city has a lot of history, and we carry that out every single day. That we get to be on this platform, to represent this great city, the history here, to speak on behalf of Martin Luther King Jr. JJ said some beautiful words, to the crowd and all that, to get the applause. But today's about that, the legacy that he has left, but that we've got to each and every one of us carry on. So proud to be the head coach here to win a basketball game, but more so, I woke up this morning really thinking about him. The messages that I was going to send out to the team, to the public and all that, but we all have an obligation to make this world a better place, and he was one of the most beautiful people that epitomize it every single day, and I'm just so glad the league, our team, organization, we carry that out, and hopefully it's a 365 thing. I say that all the time because that's truly what it's got to be.
Taylor, what was the explanation that you were given on Dylan Brooks' technical?
Yeah, I think it was just his reaction, so, yeah.
Going off of that, I think he's at 13 technicals now. As a coach, I'm sure that's something you're aware of. But is there a conversation that you have with him now, knowing that he's an important piece for what you want to accomplish the rest of this season, being that he's close to that suspension threshold?
Sure, of course. He and I will talk about it. I don't want ever, for him to ever lose his competitive fire. So definitely something that's kind of staring us in the face that we got to be smart about.
Does the last loss to the Suns, does that feel like a long time ago to you now at this point?
Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks ago. It definitely, sometimes games last week feel like forever ago, but definitely the last loss that we had, really sticks out to me in the fashion that we lost to. So that's why I'm challenging our guys to respond every single day, whether we're playing on the road and we're winning big or we're winning close. There's just different ways to win a ball game. That one was not representative of the Grizzlies, and I think our guys have really taken stock. As I said, woke up and said, hey, this is where we got to get better at. Who knows what the result's going to be, but we've got to be able to control what we bring every single night. Great. Thanks, everybody.